Ireti, a woman who has captivated the heart of Agbodo village with her supposed magical abilities, has been deceiving the villagers for years. They believe she can solve their biggest problems: wealth, love, and even health. However, a new village of Ogunju soon learned of her deception, and the truth begins to unravel, revealing that her lies are spreading beyond Agbodo. As Ireti manipulates her way through both villages, only one young girl, Ayotunde, sees through her tricks. A confrontation with devastating consequences will change both villages forever. The sun dipped low over Agbodo village, casting long shadows on dirty roads. The sound of drums echoed from the village square, signifying the evening gathering. A woman appeared at the edge of the crowd, drawing everyone's gaze. She wore rich, glowing garments that shimmered in the light, and her hair was adorned with golden beads that caught the last rays of the sun. "I am Ireti," she said. Her voice was sweet like honey, "and I have come to bring blessings to this village." The villagers watched in awe as she stepped forward. Her presence was magnetic. She raised her arms towards the sky, and within moments, a cloud appeared. Thunder rumbled, though no rain fell. The villagers gasped, believing she had called upon the heavens themselves. "I can heal your sickness, bring you wealth, and even help you find love," Ireti promised. "But first, you must offer a gift, a small token of your faith." Kofi, a poor farmer whose crops had failed for 3 consecutive seasons, stepped forward. His face was desperate. "Ireti, my farm is dying and I have nothing left. Please help me." Ireti smiled, her eyes twinkling. "Kofi, the spirits have heard your cries. To revive the soil, you must offer a small sum of money, and I will perform the ritual." Kofi hesitated. "I do not have much, but I will give you all I have left." Ireti nodded, taking the small coin Kofi offered. "This is all the spirits require. You will see the change in the next few days." Kofi left with hope, but the truth was different. The rain came the following week, naturally nourishing the crops. Yet Kofi believed the ritual had worked, and he praised Ireti, telling everyone how she had saved his farm. As words of Ireti power spread, villagers from Ogunji, a neighboring settlement, began arriving in Agbodo, seeking her help. Among them was Olumide, a wealthy merchant from Ogunji, who had held rumors of Ireti magic. "I've heard she can solve any problems," Olumide said. His voice was heavy with suspicious, "but I will not trust it easily." Ireti smiled. "Trust is earned, Olumide, and I will prove to you that I can help you. Your wife, Adesua, is in pain. Is she not? I can heal her." "I will do anything to see my wife happy," Olumide said, pulling out a large sack of gold coins. "Take this for her healing." Ireti accepted the coins and performed a ritual in front of him. Olumide returned home, telling Adesua how he had given everything to Ireti in exchange for her healing. A week later, Adesua was feeling better, but it was nothing more than time and rest. Still, Olumide remained convinced that Ireti had worked a miracle. I know you'll be wondering how Ireti started these whole things. Stay to the end of the story. Years before Ireti became the famous deceiver of Agbodo and Ogunji, she had a son, Akin, whom she loved dearly. Akin was a bright and curious child, with a smile that could warm even the coldest of hearts. For all her schemes, Akin was the one pure thing in Ireti's life, the only person she truly cared about. When Ireti began a deceptive journey, she justified her actions to herself by saying it was all for Akin. "I am doing this so he will have a better life," she often thought, "so he will never have to struggle the way I did." But as Ireti's fame and wealth grew, so did her greed increased. She began to spend less time with Akin, focusing instead on maintaining her false image and expanding her influence to neighboring villages. She hired caretakers to watch over him, promising herself she would make it up to him once he had everything she ever wanted. One fateful day, while Ireti was in Ogunji performing one of her elaborate rituals, Akin fell gravely ill. He complained of a fever, his small body trembling as the sickness worsened. The caretaker, unsure of what to do, rushed to find Ireti, but Ireti was too consumed by her performance. She stood before a crowd in the Ogoju square, waving her arms and reciting her made-up incantations as coins piled at her feet. When the caretaker reached her, frantically pulling at her sleeve, Ireti brushed her off. "Not now," Ireti hissed, glaring at the woman. "Can't you see I am busy? Take him to the village healer if it is that serious. Take him." The caretaker hesitated. "But, madam, the healer is too far, and Akin—" "I said not now," Ireti snapped, silencing the woman with a glare. The caretaker reluctantly left, carrying Akin back to Agbodo, but the journey was long and the healer was away. By the time they found someone to help, it was too late. Akin took his final breath that evening, his small hand clutching the caretaker as he whispered, "Tell Mama, I waited for her." When Ireti finally returned to Agbodo late that night, she was greeted by silence. Her house, usually filled with Akin's laughter, was mysteriously quiet. The caretaker stood by the door, tears streaming down her face. "What is it?" Ireti asked. Her voice was sharp. "Where is Akin?" The caretaker shook her head, unable to speak. Instead, she handed Ireti a small bracelet, the one Akin always wore. Ireti stared at it, her heart sinking. "No!" she whispered, stepping back. "No, you are lying. It can't be. It's just a child." But the truth was undeniable. Akin was gone, and there was no one to blame but herself. Ireti fell to her knees, clutching the bracelets to her chest. Her sobs racked her body. "I was doing this for him," she cried. "Everything I did was just for him. How could this happen?" From that day on, Ireti was never the same. She carried the weight of Akin's death like a shadow haunting her every steps. Yet, instead of changing her ways, she buried herself deeper in her schemes, using her hustle to numb the pain. "I have to keep going," she told herself. "If I stop now, everything I have done, all that I have lost will be for nothing." But deep down, Ireti knew the truth. Her greed had cost her one thing that truly mattered. She had sacrificed her son's life for the illusion of power and wealth. And no amount of gold could ever fill the void he left behind. Ayotunde, a clever and inquisitive young girl from Agbodo, was beginning to grow suspicious of Ireti. Her mother, Zainab, had spent her life savings on Ireti's supposed rituals to cure her sickly younger brother, Bayo. Yet, despite Ireti's promises, nothing had changed. Bayo remained sick. Ayotunde approached her mother one evening. Her voice was full of concern. "Mama, why did you keep giving her money? Don't you see? Ireti is taking advantage of us." Zainab, exhausted and worn out, sighed. "What can we do, Ayotunde? Ireti is the only one who has promised to help us." Ayotunde looked out of the window, watching as Ireti stood in the village square, surrounded by villagers begging for her blessings. "I will find out the truth. Mama, I have to. It is a must." Ayotunde followed Ireti one night after she had finished performing a ritual. She watched from a distance as Ireti walked towards the riverbank. Ayotunde's heart raced as she hid behind a large tree. Ireti stood by the river, tossing coins into the water and mumbling some nonsense words. She wasn't calling on any spirit, she was just pretending. Ayotunde's mind raced as she realized the truth. Ireti had no magic. She had been taking advantage of people's belief for years, and now she was spreading her lies to Ogunji. Ayotunde knew she had to expose Ireti before the lies spread any further. She traveled to Ogunji with a few trusted villagers, including Kofi and Amina, who had begun to doubt Ireti after seeing the effect of the rituals fade with time. The villagers of Ogunji gathered in the square, waiting for Ireti to perform her next miracle. Ayotunde stood before the crowd. Her voice was clear and unwavering. "Ireti has been deceiving all of you," Ayotunde called out. "She does not have any magic. She has used our trust and our money to take what isn't ours." The crowd was stunned. Ireti's face twisted with anger as she stepped forward, trying to silence Ayotunde. "You don't know what you are saying, girl. I have helped this village. I have saved your crops, healed your sickness, and brought wealth to your homes." Ayotunde shook her head. You have done nothing but take from us. I followed you. I saw you toss coins into the river, pretending to call on the spirits. You have been trickling us all along. When Ayotunde confronted Ireti in the Oguji Square, she brought up Akin in front of the entire crowd. You claim to bring blessings to the village, Ayotunde said, her voice ringing out. But what blessing did you bring to your own son, Ireti? Did your so-called magic save him when he needed you the most? Ireti froze, her composure cracking. You don't know what you're talking about, she stammered. Her voice was trembling. Ayotunde stepped closer, her eyes blazing with determination. I know you lost him because of your greed. You were too busy deceiving others to see that he needed you. And now you want to do the same to us? The crowd murmured in shock, their faith in Ireti grumbling. I didn't mean for this to happen, Ireti sobbed. I only wanted to give him a better life. I thought I was doing the right thing. As the villagers turned on Ireti, a woman stepped forward from the crowd. She was older, with a deep knowing look in her eyes. Ireti, I should have known you would return to the village, she said. Her voice was cold. Ireti froze, her face paling. Who are you? She demanded. The woman smiled bitterly. I am Ifeoma, the healer you once betrayed. Did you remember? Years ago, you came to my village and took my teachings, my secrets, and my rituals. You left me with nothing, and now you have come to take from these people too. You lied. The villagers gasped. The truth was now clear. This wasn't the first time Ireti had deceived a village. Just as the tension reached its peak, dark clouds began to gather in the sky. The wind picked up, howling as though the heavens themselves were angry with Ireti. A powerful storm began to brew. This is it, Ayotunde said, her voice trembling. The truth always comes to light. In the midst of the storm, the crowd watched as Ireti tried to flee. Lightning struck a nearby tree, and Ireti stumbled backward, terrified. Ireti, your lies have brought you here. The spirit have seen your deceits, Ayotunde declared. You will never deceive anyone again, not in my presence. The storm raged as the villagers united turned their backs on Ireti, casting her out of both villages. She was forced to live in disgrace, never to return. As Ireti stumbled through the moody path, her heart raced. She was trapped, exposed, humiliated with nowhere to go. I thought I could keep this up forever, she whispered to herself. I thought if I keep convincing them, if I made them believe enough, they would pay me for my hustle. And they did. They paid me because I made them desperate for hope. But now they see the truth. She paused, the weight of her thoughts sinking in. The spirit world was never mine to control. I only used it a way to get what I wanted. Money, power, influence. My hustle was supposed to take me to the top, but I see now that you can't build anything lasting on lies. A deep bitterness swelled inside her. Why couldn't they see that I was only giving them what they needed? Hope! Isn't that worth something? But as the storm continued to rage, Ireti realized it was over. The truth had caught up with her, and no amount of magic could undo the damage she had caused. Truth is like the sun. It always rises, no matter how many clouds you try to hide it behind. Deceiving others might seem like an easy way to succeed, but in the end, honesty is the only path to true greatness. If this is your first time of coming across our YouTube channel, welcome. Please like, share with family and friends, and do not forget to subscribe. Thank you.